All right,
Yeah,
can you
that's
still hear me?
yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so really, I would love to just feature you on my website and just get some insights from you, like how you do it all, like how do you balance the kids and working and professional obstacle racing and all that. So I guess I'll just start off. I just have a whole bunch of questions for you. So first of all, can you just tell me how you got into obstacle racing? Like, were you an athlete in high school? Like, did you participate in sports? And like, when did you discover that you were really good at obstacle racing?
Um, well, I wasn't. I've always been athletic, but I moved to Colorado when I was 12, and the way my family situation was, I really didn't have the opportunity to join organized sports, but I was always very athletic. And in the summers, I had the choice of either flying to my dad's house and living with him for the summer, or my mom said I could do like outdoor adventure camps. So I decided to do that instead. And I did that from the time I was about 11, and then when I was 15, I actually in the summers was living away from home, like working at these outdoor adventure camps, and I kind of did that through college. And then I started. We lived in Morrison, and I always really liked to run, but the only place to run was kind of either up Falcon Park, or there was like a little trail by the river, so I always would just run up Falcon Park. So I just sort of started trail running, and it kind of fit with the outdoor guiding. So that was kind of my athletic background, I guess you could say. And then I just always kept running, really just recreationally for fun, and I like to be outside in the mountains. So then when I had my two daughters 18 months apart, I was kind of depressed. I was staying home, and I had always worked, and I was staying home, and I was really busy. But I'm sure moms can relate. Like, you're so busy, but you think, what am I getting done? At the same time, you're like, I've emptied the dishwasher 20 times. And anyway, so I was just kind of looking for something for myself, and I wanted to get back in shape too. And a friend of mine told me about the Dirty Girl, and when she was describing it, that you run through mud and you climb these walls and you jump over trenches or whatever, it reminded me of doing the outdoor guiding. It kind of combined my love of running too, so I thought, okay, I'm going to train for this. So my friend and I, she has daughters about the same age as me, and we started training together, and we would switch off watching each other's kids, and we go for runs, or we go to Red Rocks and just kind of train for these events. And we had a really huge team. So then we went to the Dirty Girls the first year they had it here in Colorado. And pretty much as soon as we got there, I knew we had maybe made a terrible mistake training so much because it's not really, it's just a fun teamwork race, not really like something you need to like be training for like a year for. And so after that, I was really searching. It kind of ignited this part of me that was really needing at the time something competitive, just because I think because it balanced out what I was doing at home with my kids. I was so, you're so nurturing and caring for other people at home when you're staying home. So this idea of just doing something just for myself and just competing just for myself was really appealing. So I started searching around. I had never heard of the Dirty Girl or obstacle events or anything, and I didn't even know if any other companies existed. Hold on. Okay, listen, I need to do this, and you need to go watch your show, and I'll be back there in a minute. What? In 30 minutes. Okay. Okay. Do you want to sit on that? You have to just listen if you're going to sit. Okay? Okay, well, I'll be there in 15 minutes. I'll be there in a second. Okay. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, no worries. Leslie has a sick daughter at home today, so just got to work around that. We all know what that's like.
Oh, so anyways, so then I just did the Rugged Maniac with my husband, and then I found Spartan Race. And the first time I did Spartan Race, I'm gonna have to move you. Hold on, I gotta
Oh,
get
it's
moved.
okay.
Oh, so the first time I did Spartan Race, I thought about the Dirty Girl and how I had wished that it was more competitive. And so I kind of debated, should I sign up for the elite heat or not? I've talked to a lot of my friends, and sometimes they're like, oh, I don't think of myself as a lead, or I don't know if I should sign up for that. And that's how I felt too. But I just remembered the Dirty Girl and that I had wanted more competition. I signed up for the Elite Heat for Spartan Race. And that first race, I ended up getting third place. So I was really
Wow.
surprised
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
and motivated. And so then I just was just so interested in obstacle racing, and it kind of just became some like a passion of mine. So I ended up doing. My goal was I decided I wanted to get my trifecta, so I did the race in Utah, and then the only way to get my trifecta at the time, there wasn't any other. Uh, there's 3 different links, so the other link, the only one that was even like remotely close to us and in the right time frame was in New Jersey. So I did the race in New Jersey, and I did really well in that race. I came in third one day and first the other day, and everyone at the race was talking about this world championships that Spartan was having, and it was going to be in Vermont, and they had the point series. That was the other thing that was a new thing that year. So everyone was talking about that and the world championships, and you had to do the world championships to be in the point series. So I just thought, well, this year has been so crazy. I've done everything else. I might as well just try to do this world championships. And so like my mom helped me like cash in some flight miles and, and everything. So the world championships were only 2 weeks later, and I ended up going to that. And then when I was there, again, just randomly, because I didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of just like kept going along. Like if something would pop up, I like to describe that year as my year of saying yes to everything. So if something would pop up, I would just say yes. So when I got to the World Championships, someone mentioned that there was a different length of race. They were doing this Ultra Beast for the first time. And I hadn't even planned on coming to the championships, like let alone doing an Ultra Beast, which was like 2 laps of this longer race. So it was 30 miles. And they said anyone that wants to do it can sign up for it, like last minute that same day. So I was like, well, whatever. It's been the year of yes, so I'll just say yes and like I'll just try this. So I didn't have anything. I mean, when I look back, I was ridiculously unprepared. Like everybody had brought these like big bins of like equipment and like resupplies, and I hadn't planned on it, and I really didn't. No, I didn't know what I was doing. So I had like a black trash bag, and I like shoved like extra protein bars in there and everything. So I did the world championship race, and then you had to do another lap. So I did the other lap, and I actually did pretty well in that race. So that year, just randomly, the way that they did the points and the way they weighed the points for that longer race, that first year that I did it, I was second for points in the World Series or whatever. So I was surprised.
Wow.
But
So that was your
yeah,
first year of obstacle racing. That's so amazing. So when was that? What year was that?
um, 2011, I think.
Wow, that's so
Or
cool.
12, no, maybe 12. I think it was 12. I think when all is said and done, it was 2012. So,
Okay. So actually, that leads me to a great question because I haven't done a Spartan. I've done like the Muddy Buddy and races like that, and
mhm.
I feel like I have a similar story to you. Like I always did pretty well, but I'm a trail runner. Like I never considered myself like an athlete or very competitive. But I was
Yeah.
considering signing up for the elite wave, Now, like for the beast, so that's a 13-mile run, 13 to 14
Yeah.
miles. What would you say? I mean, if I haven't done any of those obstacles, um, you know, how could I prepare myself, or like say any other moms out there or parents that like are working from home with their kids, like how can I prepare myself? And then what kind of times should I expect to like how fast should I be running to be able to like kind of stick within that elite weight, like maybe not win, but be able to like hang.
Yeah. Okay, so I do really think like trail running helps a lot because so if you already like to trail run, you're ahead of the game because sometimes people that ask me or that I talk to like they don't like to run, and
Oh, oh
there's really no way around the distance that you're going to be doing. You don't have to run the whole distance, but you have to at least be able to walk and get from one point to the other. So if it's 3 miles, you have to be able to walk or run that distance. So definitely keep up your trail running. It's hard to say an average pace because honestly, I don't consider myself particularly fast at all. I really don't. Like if I were to like, I don't even know, but if I were to like compare my personal record to like someone else's, I'd probably be pretty slow or like middle of the road. But I think
okay.
what helps, the training that really helps with the trail running is, well, there's a couple things. So the first thing is that ability to stop and start, because as a runner, you get into a rhythm and like a mode, but when you're obstacle racing, you're constantly on the ground, then up again running. You're stopping, you're starting, you're running, then you're doing other things. So breaking up that rhythm that you get in is like huge training. And then being able to lift your body weight in different ways. So like pull-ups or push-ups, getting up and over things, like crawling under things. So like I do a boot camp mainly because it kind of forces me to do that. So like we're stopping, starting, doing push-ups, things like that.
Yeah.
Grip strength is huge for especially women. There's a lot of obstacles where you just have to be able to hold your own body weight with your grip strength. So it's upper body strength and grip strength. So you know, even just hanging on a bar, just like add like say
Okay.
how long can I hang on this bar, and then like just trying to add more time to it. Um,
Yeah.
and then capitalize on what you're going to be good at too, because moms I think naturally are good at carrying the heavy things that they ask you to carry because you're used to carrying your kids. And
Oh,
it's awkward
exactly.
things it's awkward things that they have you carry, so like buckets and different things, but carrying your kids honestly is like even harder than that a lot of times because they're like moving at the same
Yeah.
time. um, but so and then the other thing is I would pick a few obstacles because Spartan has penalties. It has those 30 burpees.
Yeah.
So get kind of comfortable with burpees so that you're not scared of them, because that way you're just not worried about it the whole time. Like if you have to do burpees, you're like, fine, I can do these burpees. So try to add more burpees just so you're not worried about it. And then try to pick a few obstacles that you like, try to pick a few obstacles that you're going to work on. So for instance, for me, my first year, I was really bad at the rope climb. And I used to have to do a lot of burpees at that. So I made it my goal. First of all, I had to find a place to climb a rope, which you can. I can. There's lots of places now where you can go. Like most CrossFit gyms have one, or even like the local elementary school. Sometimes we'll have a rope and they'll let you borrow it. But I just made it my goal that I was going to conquer that obstacle, and I would add it to the end of my workouts. So when I was tired, every time I would decide to, I'd, I'd do my workout and then I'd climb the rope one time. And then that way I knew that I would be able to complete that obstacle. So I would pick one obstacle and really work on that one so that you know for sure you're not going to have to do burpees on that. And then and I think it's helpful too. Like one thing that I've noticed is I try to split my training up a little bit. Like I do a lot of training by myself on the things that I like. Like I like trail running, so I do that by myself. But then the things I don't like, I try to find company or like the strength training. That's why I do the boot camps too, is I really don't like doing that on my own. So it helps to have like people cheering you on and motivating you and some accountability for it.
Really?
Yeah. I think the other thing that I would suggestion I would have is it's really hard to find time for everything. I don't think I really actually do find time for everything. It's just a series of choices that you make on how you're going to spend your time and kind of living with those choices and trying to not feel guilty about it either way. So like this year I went back to work and I really had to cut back on some of my training, but I mean, I like that choice that I made because I'm really excited about what I'm doing. And then there's other choices too. Like for instance, I still go to boot camp twice a week, and sometimes I feel guilty about that because I think of like what my daughters are doing or what I could be doing at home. But then I kind of live with that choice too. But I think the main thing is when I first started, I felt like I didn't have any time to work out, and then if you're not married but even if you just have a friend or like a mom or someone that you can talk to and say like, where's the block of time that we could set aside every week that would work, and then you just have to stick to that. And honestly, like this boot camp, I've been going to it since I first started racing, like in 2011, and my husband and I are just so used to those block of times that I don't ever want to change it because I think if I were to change it, that time would get filled with something else. And so it's just, and it doesn't have to be crazy, like a crazy plan. Like that's the thing is, I know a lot of people, they want to like change, and so they think, okay, and they have these elaborate plans, and then when you break one part of that elaborate plan, you kind of feel like you've failed. So I guess I would just say like start off with once a week of just setting time aside to work on obstacles or to do boot camp or whatever it is once a week, and then that's, then you can stick with it.
Okay. Wow. Those are some great tips, Leslie. Thank you.
Sorry, I talked too long.
No, you didn't talk too long at all. I have like 10 more minutes worth of questions. Is that okay? Or do you need to go hang out with
Yeah, that's okay. We'll see how my daughters do.
Okay, that's fine. We can play it by ear.
Yeah.
Okay. How old are your kids now?
They are, well, my daughter's going to be 7 in March, and they're a year and a half apart. So my other one is 5.
Okay, so now they're both in school.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
my
Okay.
youngest is still in preschool.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
When I
I guess oh, go ahead.
when I first started, they were toddlers.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that leads me to my next question. Like, you kind of touched on how, you got your husband, helped you by giving you blocks of time where you would go and train, or you had a friend that you kind of switched off watching kids. I mean, now that you're working full time, how do you do it? Like, how do you balance training and being a professional obstacle racer and spending time with your kids and working, and you're also the founder of Colorado Obstacle Racers. So how do you do it?
Well, I don't do it all. I think I told you that. Unfortunately, like I don't. That is a myth. You cannot do it all. It's just impossible. So it's just a series of choices. For me, I put my family first and my daughters first. But then at the same time, I do try to just carve those times aside to train. So I injured myself like somewhere in this like timeline. After that first year that I came second in points, I got plantar fasciitis, and I was trying to train through that, and then I broke my foot, and I was supposed to do this race in Nicaragua, and I wasn't able to do it. And then right after that, I was invited to be on the Spartan Pro team, and so I was so excited. And so again, I kind of like tried to rush through my recovery, and I ended up stress fracturing my leg, my femur, the top of my femur. So I broke my leg. And so last year, my goal was really just to have a season where I didn't injure myself. So I guess what I'm trying to say is through that, I kind of had to cut back on some of my training a little bit, and I had to be okay with just doing what was best for my body, and then at the same time I was trying to do what's best for my family too. And And with core, I founded core, and I feel like it's my baby. But I've had to let a lot of things go with that too, as far as letting some other leaders like step up and take over certain roles. Um, and I still kind of like chime in if I think there's like a piece of our mission that maybe we need to like be reminded of. But in general, I mean, I don't really do it all. I just don't. But I just prioritize like the things that I have to do, and then I try to like I don't know. I just try to do the best I can. I don't really know how to answer it.
Yeah.
It's every week, like my husband and I, we sit down and we try to figure out our schedules because he has goals that he has personally, and I have goals that I have personally. We kind of trade off and make time for both of our personal goals, and then we try to make sure we're there for our daughters too in our jobs. So
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. No, you're right. You can't do it all. Like, I think when you try, that's when you get overwhelmed and burn out and bad things happen. So, yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Oh yeah, so I was gonna ask, the website I started is kind of about like, spending more time with your kids by trying to
yeah,
incorporate them in your training a little bit. And I didn't know, did you ever, or do you still like, do you train with your kids at all? Like, do you,
yeah.
take them on runs or?
Yeah, so when I first started, my daughters were toddlers. I had the big Bob stroller, and I would try to run with them. It was met with sort of varying results. Sometimes it would work, and sometimes they didn't want to be in the stroller at all. And we would go up to Red Rocks a lot, and I would bring friends, and we would switch off like running. Like some friends would like play with the kids at the bottom, and the other mom would like try to get a little workout in, and we would switch off. So that worked pretty well. Now that they're older, one thing we've been doing as a family recently was going rock climbing. So we've been doing indoor rock climbing at the
Fun.
yeah. So my husband and I got certified at the local rec center, and so now we can kind of take them whenever there's not classes going. So we do that together, and that's been really fun actually. I wish we had started that earlier because everyone's on an even playing field. The kids are like probably better than us at it, so
Wow.
it's really fun,
Yeah, no,
and it
I,
helps.
I love rock climbing too.
Yeah, it helps with the grip strength and the upper body strength too that you need for obstacle racing. So that could be something.
Oh,
How old are your boys now?
they're a year and a half and 3, so really still pretty young.
Okay, yeah. Well, they have childcare there too.
Oh, yeah, no, we just started in-home preschool 2 days a week. So before that, I've been watching them full time for almost 4.
Okay.
Well, my oldest is almost 4 now. So we're like, we're just getting too busy, and so we did. So the 2 days that they're in that, full day preschool, we try to go rock climbing once or twice. But we definitely want to get our kids into it because it's such great like confidence builder, and it's
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's great for anyone to try out. So.
Well, my daughters do the Spartan racing too, and they love it. And that's been like a fun thing for them to do. So they've done it the last 2 years. The first year they did it was really fun to see them do it. So the first year they did it, we didn't like really like set it up with too much. We didn't know if they were going to stick together or not stick together, but like my husband stayed with one daughter and I stayed with the other, and the youngest like made it her mission to win the race. So she did like so basically winning just meant like beating her sister. So so we didn't know that's what she like wanted to do, but at the end she was like really proud of herself. And then last year, and then my oldest had no clue, like she was just making friends in the mud pit and really like could have cared less like who was doing what or where her sister was. But then last year the girls did it as a team. They decided they want to run it together, so they helped each other over the obstacles and like stuck together the whole time. So
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I'd heard they started kids courses, but yeah, I didn't know that, it was that elaborate that the kids can really compete. And
well,
great.
I don't really think. I think my youngest just sort of decided that that's how she was going to do it, but it's not really like.
Oh, that's great.
So,
Okay, I just have a couple more questions. So for like the parent that does discover that maybe they're good at something, whether it be ultra running or obstacle racing, I know that there are a lot of opportunities for sponsorship for through various companies, and I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to know like how you handle that. Like, do they typically reach out to you? Have you ever approached a company? Like, how does the sponsorship model work if somebody were interested in like taking it on and trying to like make themselves into an athlete full time?
Yeah, so there's different kinds of sponsorships. Some are, I guess realizing there's different kinds of sponsorships, and for most companies, they're looking for work in exchange. So, I mean, I'm like an above. I'm an okay like athlete. Like I do okay in my elite heats and everything, but the sponsorships that I've had, well, the Spartan Pro team, they approached me, and then I have a nutrition sponsor, VPX, and I met them when I was in Nicaragua. So it was really just making connections. So that's one way. And then I did have a clothing sponsor. They actually, I don't think they're not in business anymore, but again, that was like just making connections, talking to people, and kind of sharing your passions. So I think one thing that really helps with getting sponsors is just being really passionate about what you're doing and trying to share that passion in some way, like whether you're talking to people or writing about it in a blog or doing like a podcast or whatever it might be. If you have this passion and you're sharing it with people and it kind of fits with the sponsorship's mission and like their model of what they want to portray, then that's one way. But I think too, like just realizing that it is work. So most of the sponsorships are wanting some kind of social media aspect in return or some kind of advertising in return. Sometimes it can be as simple as like wearing their jersey, and that's not too hard. But um, like the clothing sponsorship that I had to do some kind of media post, whether it was a blog or a picture, every week. And so that actually is kind of something that takes some work. So I guess like I would just tell people that you have to kind of work for those sponsorships too most of the time. It's not like a freebie and free stuff and and all these like things raining in. It's work too, and you kind of have to work for it.
Okay,
Um,
no, that's good.
and the other thing is just to go on their website. A lot of times companies will have blocks of time that they'll be looking for athletes as ambassadors or to sponsor, and you just have to send your info in a certain amount of time.
Okay, cool. Okay, so last question. Do you have like what are your future goals for obstacle racing or just in general?
Um, well, I feel like going back to work, and just because obstacle racing has changed quite a bit, a lot of the elite athletes that I notice, at least right now, um, are are really training is their main focus, and then they have jobs on the side to sort of support that. There's it's hard to think of too many of the athletes that are they're making the podium right now that have a full-time job and then are sort of training on the side. That's really challenging. So I kind of have to realize that my goals as far as that are changing. And personally, I just like to do things that I enjoy. So my goal this year is to do a lot of obstacle races that are in the mountains and that are the longer lengths. I did the World's Toughest Mudder this last year for the first time, and I really loved that and enjoyed that. And it was the 24-hour race, so I want to do that again. So that's a major goal. I want to try to get to Vermont for the Ultra Beast and do that race again. I don't really have a goal as far as where I want to place in those races, but I just want to um, like at the end of it feel like I couldn't have tried any harder or run any faster or done too many things differently. So that's kind of my goal this year.
Yeah, no, that's great that your stance is just have fun first and then just see
Yeah,
what
yeah,
happens. Like if you happen to place, that's great, but don't make
right.
it about the competition itself. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, I have personal goals too. So I did the World's Toughest Mudder and I felt really good about my running, but I realized that I needed to be stronger on some of the obstacles. So just personally, I'm trying to get a little bit stronger in some of the obstacles this year.
Okay. Oh, so I was actually really quick. I was just wondering, as a kindergarten teacher, do you incorporate? Because I know a lot of classrooms are like encouraging incorporating some kind of fitness into the
Mm-hmm.
classroom. And like, I don't know if you've seen, I know I've heard like the decline of time for gym class or recess or more strict rules. Like, how do you feel about that? And like, do you incorporate that into your classroom at all?
Honestly, I don't incorporate it as much as I anticipated I would because I have such a short amount of time with my students in my class. But when it fits in, I do incorporate it. So we take brain breaks every day and we move around and we move. I mean, kindergarten is all about moving anyways. So I try to give opportunities for the kids in my class to move. And then too, I model. I mean, like I'll use it for instance. I think the kids really like to know that I'm a person too, not just like their teacher, and that I do other active things too. So like I'll talk about it just sort of informally, or if we have to write about things that we love, or if we have to describe an experience, sometimes I'll incorporate it that way. Um, uh, or if we're talking about how you have to try and not give up, like I incorporate it that way too. But I mean, just in general, I think physically, you have to be active to get that academic parts going in the classroom too. I don't really have anything like super smart to say about it, but yeah, I just think it's so important that kids are moving.
Okay, cool. But that's all my questions. So thank you so much. I know Lucy's kind of wanting to snuggle a little bit, so I'll let you go take care of her.
Well, thanks for interviewing me. Thanks for including me. I'm excited for your website.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is kind of a little project. We'll see what happens with it, but I don't know. I love spending time with my boys. Like I take them out running in my double jogger stroller, all the time.
Yeah,
I take them to Red Rocks, work out with them at Red Rocks, and I just want to like create resources for parents because I know a lot of parents are just like, my life's over, like I can't trail run anymore, just live this active adventurous lifestyle anymore, and I
yeah,
just want to show them it can be done. And like you're an inspiration. I think finding these other really cool parents that can hopefully motivate and inspire and give some takeaways to people to help them.
yeah. Well, if you want to, since you're doing this, Barton, we should try to throw some spears around because that's one really strange obstacle they have. So,
I would love. Do you have some spears?
yeah, you can make them pretty easily, I've discovered. So, the one I have is kind of broken, but I need to make a few more. So it's pretty easy, and we can like throw them around. And if you can keep your kids out of the way, it's pretty fun.
Oh, that'd be
They,
awesome. No,
it's
yeah, I
it's
would love
hard
to
because
get
like
together.
when my daughters do it, I'm constantly like, you can't be in front of the spear, but so that's the only downside. But yeah, we could do that. It would be fun.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. That'd be great. Like just get together and yeah, I'm doing the one at Brack. I'm sure. Is that the one you're doing too? The
Yeah,
Brack.
I'm doing that one. And then there's one in May. Are you gonna do that one? That one is it's not as long, but it's supposed to be kind of more hilly than normal, which would be good. So.
I know. I've actually signed up for the Go Ruck Challenge.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
I saw that. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just good for me because my weakness is my strength. So it's
Mhm.
forcing me to like get strong because I'm off to run all day. Like that's all I'll do is just go run.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I tend to be injury prone as well. So I'm just like, I need to get strong, and it's forcing me to do that. So
Yeah, it's really hard because like the stronger and the bigger you get, the harder it is to run in a way, So
oh yeah,
you have to balance that. It's just really it's definitely a balance. It's hard.
yeah. No, I'm excited to kind of just try it out and see what happens. I mean, it's like exactly like you. Like I grew up just like climbing trees and Um, just I don't know. I just think it's a good fit, so I'm excited to just give it a try now that I'm recovered from having the kids and I have a little bit more time. I'm just like, let's
Yeah,
just see what happens.
you'll do. Yeah, it'll do great. Are you gonna do the elite heat for the
you
Breckenridge?
know, I signed up for the regular wave or the regular heat, but I'm thinking about switching just
Mhm.
because I've done a little bit of research and kind of like what you're saying. I think I could hang, but I've never done most of the obstacles, so I don't want to get there and not even know how to do the obstacle. I mean, that was kind of what I was trying to ask you is like, could I show up and just figure out the obstacles and
Yes, you can. You can. And I would do it like what I think is if you will get annoyed, and this sounds bad, but if you would get annoyed to have to like wait at an obstacle, then I would do the elite heat because the later heats get kind of you might be waiting at an obstacle. People aren't always there to compete, so a lot of them are just there to finish the obstacles. So it's kind of a different vibe.
Yeah, no, that's exactly kind of my thoughts. I'm really competitive. Like when I get in an event, I'm like, I have to pass that person. Like so I think I would get very annoyed just waiting. And I mean, I get people just are just doing it, but I can't get that mindset when I do an event. I gotta
Yeah,
keep moving.
I would do elite then.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
And if you want to practice some of the obstacles beforehand, there's only a few, honestly, that maybe you will have never like tried anything like before, and that would be the spear, and that one we can practice, and then the rope too. And the boot camp I go to has one, so you could just come and we could try it a couple times. But maybe you even already know how to do that. But those are the only ones. Oh, and then they have a new one with the wall. It's called a Z wall. So you have to go around a corner. It's like a horizontal climbing wall, and you have to like traverse this horizontal climbing wall and get around this corner. It's just kind of different. So,
okay.
but but if you practice climbing like at Red Rocks or whatever, that it's just that grip strength.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm excited. Well, yeah, let's just stay in touch and I don't know, whenever you have time, I'm out of town most of March, but I'd love to get together and train or work out or something.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe like in April or May when it's nicer, we can do like the spears and the other obstacle stuff. Really, you'll do great. Just sign up for the elite. Just go for it.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it today. Give me the inspiration.
Okay.
Switching over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much, and have a good day, and hope Lucy feels better. Hi,
Okay.
Lucy.
Yeah. It was good to meet you. Bye.
Oh yeah, it was so good catching up with you.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, bye, Leslie.
Bye.